Okay, this video is for my pre-calculus class, and it's kind of a word problem that we're going to deal with inverses and inverse functions, and it's a cool problem. So I wanted to make sure I went with you and did this with you. So it said if a cricket chirps r times per minute, then the outside temperature is given by T equals f of r equals 1/4 r plus 40 degrees. So the first thing I always want you guys to do is take the formula and label the crap out of it so we know what everything stands for. So I'm just going to write as T equals 1/4 R plus 40. And then I'm going to label everything. So the R is chirps per minute. Okay, that's what that stands for. And the T is the temperature, and it's in degrees Fahrenheit. So here's the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So I've labeled it. Now, if I was going to make a point, my point would be RT, because in this formula, my input is the chirps. So I can put the chirps in here. I can tell you what the temperature is outside because it's telling you the temperature and the number of chirps that a cricket has. They have something to do with each other. There's a relationship between the two. Okay. So it says find the formula for R equals F inverse of T. So this formula right here is solved for temperature. So basically, they want us to solve for chirps. So I'm going to actually isolate the R and solve for R, and then that will help us. So let's do that. So we'll start out with T equals 1/4 R plus 40. Going to subtract 40 on both sides because I'm going to isolate the R. So I have T minus 40 equals R. 1/4 R. Okay. Then I want to know what R is. I'm going to solve for R. So it's 1/4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. And when I do, I'm going to multiply everything on both sides. So I've got 4 times this and 4 times this. So this is going to turn to a 1. Wow, I've got all sorts of colors this time. So now I have R equals 4T minus 160 because I had to distribute that 4. Okay, so now I found the inverse. And this was, my input was chirps per minute, output was temperature. This one is the opposite. My input is temperature or degrees Fahrenheit, out will be the number of chirps. So it is the inverse because my points are opposite. And the other thing I want you to tell you too, that is if I give you a formula like this that has meaning, like a real life meaning to it, all you have to do is solve for the other variable for your input. You don't have to switch that X and Y like we do for just the algebra part in class. Okay, so now they want us to calculate and interpret f of 50. So f of 50 would be my original function here. So I'm going to write the original down here again. So I've got T equals 1/4 R plus 40. Okay, now remember that R were the number of chirps. If this helps, I'm telling you, this is my temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So if I do F of 50, I'm plugging in a 50. What does the 50 stand for? Oh, well, that is the number of chirps. Okay, so if I plug in 50 chirps, it should be able to tell me the temperature. So I'm going to do T equals 1/4 times 50 times 50 plus 40. And when I do that, 1/4 of 50 is 12.5 plus 40. So this is 12.5. Let's see this, make sure 50 divided by 4 is 12.5 plus 40 is 52, not 60. Sorry about that. 52.5. 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so when I plug in 50 chirps, that tells me that the temperature is about 50 chirps in there. I get the temperature which is 52.5 degrees Fahrenheit when there's 50 chirps, okay? The next one, it wants me to do F inverse 50, so I'm going to use this purple one. So the 50 now, it's not chirps anymore. This is actual temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So I got R equals 4 times 50. See how that's different? Minus 160. So R is going to be 40. This is 160. Boy, that looks awful. I'm sorry about this, but my pen is not really cooperating. I feel like I'm writing really slow, and I'm sorry about that. 160, 200 minus 160 is 40, and now this is the number of chirps. So let's see what we have here. So this one here is when there are 50 chirps per minute, the temperature is 52.5 degrees Fahrenheit. This one is the opposite, okay? When the temperature is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, then there are 40 chirps per minute. I'm writing and it's not writing, guys. Sorry about that. It's like I told you, my pen's acting weird. Chirps per minute. Okay? So there's one of the word problems that I wanted to make sure you had to do. Here's another one, finding the formula for an inverse function. Now again, this one is, we're going to use algebra to do this, but I want you to know that we're not talking about chirps or temperature. This is just pure algebra. If it's just pure algebra like this, you're going to do the technique we did in class. First of all, I'll let you write it like this, y equals x minus 1 over x plus 1. Then we're going to do the big switcheroo, and you're going to switch your x and y's. So now I have x equals y minus 1 over y plus 1. And then I'm going to isolate my y, so I'm going to cross multiply. So I have y minus 1 equals xy plus x. And since I want to isolate my y's, this is a y and this term has a y in it. I'm going to move this term over here, and I'm going to move the negative 1 over here. So I end up with y minus xy equals x plus 1. And like I told you in class, if you have y in both terms on one side, you are going to factor out the y. So you have 1 minus x. And it's hooked to that parentheses by multiplication. So I'm going to divide by this, which I say divide by the glop. So you have y equals x plus 1 over 1 minus x. So that is your inverse, but I always want you to rewrite it, and you're going to use F inverse notation. So it'd be F inverse of x is going to be x plus 1 over 1 minus x. Okay, so that is how you find your inverse algebraically. So that's it for this video, and I apologize for my pen acting so weird. So I hope this helps.